There's a silent war between who you are and who you could be, between the comfort that numbs you and the discipline that could transform you. From the ancient training of warriors to the quiet rituals of the modern Stoics, Iron Mind reveals that the greatest victories happen in solitude, not against others, but against your own weakness. It's not about medals, followers, or trophies. It's about mastery, and mastery begins in the mind. There was a time when pain was part of life, when survival required courage, and struggle was the air men breathed. But now, pain has become optional. We've built a world so comfortable, so padded, so safe, that the smallest inconvenience feels like an attack. We run from silence, we hide from effort, we drown meaning in distraction. We no longer live, we scroll, we no longer fight, we cope. And the fire that once built empires now burns quietly behind tired eyes, begging to be remembered. But deep down, it's still there, that instinct, that pulse, that faint whisper that says, there's more in you. It's the echo of every warrior, every thinker, every soul who refused to bend to comfort. The voice that says, get up, keep going, forge yourself, because no one else will. You see, weakness isn't just physical, it's mental. It's the quiet surrender to things that don't matter. It's the choice to stay comfortable when you should grow. It's the lie that says, you're fine, when you know you're wasting your life. Greatness doesn't shout, it doesn't post, it doesn't seek attention. It's built in silence, in the repetition of invisible acts, in waking up when no one's watching, in doing what's hard, even when it's pointless, in saying no to the easy path. That's the paradox of the Iron Mind. The stronger it gets, the less it needs to prove. The louder the world gets, the quieter it becomes. The Stoics called this apatheia, not apathy, but invulnerability, a state where the storms of life may rage, but the mind remains still, anchored, unmoved. It's the calm of Marcus Aurelius writing in the middle of war, the patience of Epictetus teaching freedom while living as a slave, the discipline of Seneca reminding us that pain is not the enemy. Panic is you don't build this kind of strength by accident. You build it in fire. You build it every time you choose discomfort over ease. Every time you sit in silence when your mind screams for noise. Every time you push when your body begs to stop. And in those moments, those small, invisible victories, something begins to change. The mind hardens, the will sharpens. The self becomes something new, something rare. Because in an age of distraction, focus is rebellion. In a world of softness, strength is revolutionary. In a culture that worships ease, effort becomes sacred. The truth is, you will never feel ready. You will never find the perfect time, the perfect plan, the perfect motivation. Discipline begins when excuses end. When you stop negotiating with weakness and start walking into the fire, there's no audience there, no applause, no validation, just you and the voice inside your head that says, again. Every man faces that voice, the one that says, stay in bed, the one that says, you've done enough, the one that says, you're not built for this. And every day, that voice wins, or you do, because the war never ends. It only gets quieter, and the quieter it gets, the deeper it cuts. The mind is the battlefield, not the gym, not the boardroom, not the street. If you lose it there, you lose it everywhere. But if you win there, you become untouchable. This is the essence of the Iron Mind. It's not about feeling no pain, it's about fearing no pain. It's about standing in the fire and knowing that it cannot destroy you. It's about finding peace in effort, pride in struggle, and meaning in suffering. We were not made to live soft lives. We were made to grow, to fight, to endure, to transform the chaos around us into order and the weakness within us into strength. The Iron Mind is forged in silence. It's born in the moments you want to quit, but don't. It's refined every time you choose the hard path, not because it's glamorous, but because it's right. So if you're tired of breaking down, if you're tired of the noise, the doubt, the weakness, then understand this: your mind is your forge, your pain is your fire, and your discipline is the hammer that will shape you. This isn't a story about perfection. It's a story about becoming, because the man who feels no pain isn't unhuman. He's just mastered what others run from, and that is where true freedom begins. Weakness didn't begin with the body, it began with the mind, and it started the moment humanity decided that comfort was safer than growth. There was a time when every step meant risk. Every day demanded effort. Men hunted, built, endured, not because they wanted to, but because survival left them no choice. And in that crucible of necessity, strength was born. But when survival became easy, something inside us began to die. We traded danger for security, discipline for convenience, and meaning for pleasure. At first, it felt like progress. We built cities that blocked the wind, machines that carried our weight, and screens that delivered everything our ancestors had to fight for. But slowly, the human spirit, the same fire that once built empires, began to fade. Not from war, not from disease, but from ease. Weakness is not a lack of strength, it's the absence of struggle. It's what happens when a mind no longer faces resistance. When a man no longer challenges himself, he begins to decay, even as he appears comfortable. Science confirms what philosophy already knew. The brain is built through friction. Neurons grow through challenge. Discomfort literally wires strength into our nervous system. But remove that friction, and the system collapses. Every notification, every shortcut, every dopamine spike, it's all part of a silent addiction. We've become slaves to stimulation. Our minds crave constant reward and reject anything that feels slow, still, or difficult. We no longer train patience. We outsource it to machines. We no longer sit with pain. We medicate it away, and when life inevitably tests us, we break because we've forgotten how to endure. The Stoics warned about this 2,000 years ago. Seneca said, "Soft living makes soft men." They knew that comfort, left unchecked, corrodes the will. The man who always chooses ease loses his edge, and the one who avoids pain loses himself. Weakness, then, is not an accident. It's the result of countless small surrenders. Each time you skip the workout, each time you silence your conscience, each time you avoid the thing you know you should do. It's not one great failure, it's death by 1,000 comforts. You may not notice it at first. You might even call it peace. But deep down, your soul knows the truth. It knows you were made to bear weight, to struggle, to overcome. Without resistance, the muscles of the mind atrophy. And soon, what was once strong becomes fragile. Look around you. Discipline is mocked. Sacrifice is outdated. Pleasure is the new god. And those who chase it endlessly wonder why they feel empty. The truth is simple. Meaning does not come from what is easy. It comes from what costs you something. It's born in the places that hurt, in the moments that test your patience, in the decisions that force you to choose between comfort and growth. Weakness has a voice. It's quiet, persuasive, polite. It tells you to rest when you're not tired. It tells you to quit because you deserve a break. It tells you that your dreams can wait. And the tragedy is, we believe it. But greatness has a voice too. It doesn't shout, it doesn't beg for your attention. It whispers, keep going. Do one more, stay focused. And most people never hear it, because the noise of comfort is louder than the call of greatness. You see, weakness thrives in noise, but strength is born in silence. It's forged in early mornings, cold showers, heavy weights, and quiet minds. It's in those moments when you push against the invisible, your own limits, that the iron mind begins to form. Modern science calls it neuroplasticity. The Stoics called it training the soul. Different language, same truth. The mind adapts to whatever you feed it. Feed it distractions, it becomes scattered. Feed it fear, it becomes timid. Feed it pain, it becomes indestructible. The origin of weakness, then, is not external. It's not in society or the times or technology. It's in the daily decision to avoid what's difficult. Every skipped challenge is a message to your brain. I can't handle it, and the brain believes you. Soon it stops even trying. But the reverse is also true. Every time you push, even just a little, you send a different message. I can endure this. I'm not made of glass. I am the forge. The body follows the mind. And when the mind becomes iron, the world can no longer break it. So if you feel lost, weak, undisciplined, understand this. It's not your fault, but it is your responsibility. You've been conditioned to seek ease, but conditioning can be broken. Weakness is not permanent. It's just untrained strength. The iron mind begins when you stop asking for things to be easier and start demanding that you become stronger. You do not rise by removing struggle. You rise by facing it head-on, until the parts of you that once trembled become steady, and the pain that once broke you becomes the proof of who you are. Because at the origin of weakness lies a choice, and on the other side of that choice is rebirth. Pain, the one teacher everyone fears, and the only one that never lies. You can run from it for a while, hide behind comfort, distractions, and excuses. But pain is patient. It will always find you, and when it does, it will ask the question that comfort never asks: who are you, really? Every man who's ever become something greater than himself has answered that question through suffering. Pain is the forge. It burns away illusion and weakness until only truth remains. You see, suffering doesn't build character. It reveals it. It strips the ego bare. It shows you what's real and what's fragile. It shows you whether you endure because of motivation or conviction. When the Stoics spoke of endurance, they weren't glorifying pain. They were honoring transformation. Epictetus was born a slave. He was beaten, humiliated, broken, and yet, he said, no man is free unless he masters himself. He understood something most people never will. The body can be chained, but the mind decides what those chains mean. Marcus Aurelius wrote entire books while his empire crumbled. Sick, betrayed, surrounded by war. He never asked for the world to be easier. He only asked for the strength to remain good within it. And Seneca, a man who had everything, lost everything, and still wrote, "Fire tests gold, suffering tests brave men." They all understood the same law. Pain is not the enemy. Pain is the fire that tempers the soul. But in our time, we treat pain like poison. We anesthetize it, avoid it, negotiate with it. We label anything uncomfortable as trauma, forgetting that growth is discomfort. You cannot forge steel without heat. You cannot forge the mind without struggle. When you train, you break the muscle so it grows back stronger. When you fast, you teach your body control. When you endure silence, you master your thoughts. Discomfort isn't punishment, it's purification. Every time you resist pain, you strengthen fear. Every time you face it, you weaken it. Pain is a signal, not of damage, but of adaptation. It's your body and mind saying, something's changing. And that's what growth feels like. Change disguised as suffering. Think about the forge, the fire that melts steel. The metal doesn't scream, but it transforms. It loses its shape, its comfort, its identity. And through that destruction, it becomes stronger than before. That's the iron mind, to stand in the fire of life without flinching. To accept the burn not as cruelty, but as creation. To realize that what you call pain is actually progress in disguise. Modern neuroscience proves it. When you endure discomfort, whether it's physical strain, emotional pressure, or mental effort, the brain releases chemicals of resilience. Neural pathways form that increase tolerance, focus, and willpower. The mind literally rewires itself through controlled suffering. It's not philosophy, it's biology. The Stoics didn't have brain scans, but they knew this truth intuitively. They sought discomfort deliberately, cold baths, fasting, isolation, not because they were masochists, but because they understood that voluntary suffering builds freedom. He who trains with pain on his own terms will not fear it when it comes uninvited. Ask yourself, when did life break you last? When did you face something that tested every part of your being? Did you curse it, or did you learn from it? Because every scar is a story, not of pain, but of evolution. Every hardship that crushed you left behind something stronger than what it destroyed. You may not have seen it then, but pain was not ending you, it was shaping you. The forge of pain is not a place of punishment, it's the birthplace of power. Those who avoid it never grow. Those who embrace it become unstoppable. But remember, there's a difference between suffering and struggle. Suffering without meaning destroys. Struggle with purpose creates. You must choose to give your pain a direction. You must decide that it will refine you, not consume you. The iron mind is not numb. It feels everything deeply, but it refuses to let feeling dictate fate. To become the man who feels no pain is not to feel nothing. It's to understand pain so completely that it no longer controls you. It becomes the background noise of your greatness, the silent companion of your becoming. So when the fire comes, don't run. Stand there. Let it burn away what isn't you. Let it show you what remains when all comfort dies, because what remains after pain is what was true all along. You, unbroken, unmoved, unstoppable. After the fire comes silence, and for most men, that silence is unbearable, because once the noise fades, the distractions, the struggle, the chaos, you're left alone with the only opponent that truly matters, yourself. The world teaches you to move faster, to fill every space, to drown thought with noise and emotion with action. But the Stoics, they knew the truth that terrifies modern man. The hardest discipline is stillness, not the stillness of laziness, the stillness of control. The kind of stillness that looks calm from the outside, but inside it's a storm tamed by the will. Discipline begins where impulse ends. And to control impulse, you must learn to be still. Still when anger rises, still when fear screams, still when your mind tells you to run, because calm is not the absence of emotion, it's the mastery of it. Every man wants power, but only few understand that power begins in silence. The man who can remain unmoved when provoked, patient when tested, focused when distracted. That man holds a weapon the world cannot break. The discipline of stillness isn't about meditation or detachment. It's about building the mental muscle to pause between feeling and reaction, to choose your response instead of surrendering to reflex. That space between stimulus and response, that's where freedom lives. Most people never reach it. They react, lash out, explode, retreat. Their emotions command them like tyrants, and so they live as slaves to circumstance. But the iron mind operates differently. It feels everything: anger, pain, doubt, temptation. But it doesn't obey any of it. It watches, it breathes, it chooses. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." 2,000 years later, science calls it emotional regulation, prefrontal control, mindfulness under stress. Different words, same truth. The man who rules his mind doesn't need to rule anyone else. His calm becomes his crown. Stillness is strength because it allows clarity. It lets you see what emotion tries to hide. Fear exaggerates. Anger blinds, desire distorts. But stillness sees truth exactly as it is. When the mind becomes quiet, the world reveals itself. Decisions become simple. Problems shrink. Direction returns. That's why the ancients sought solitude. They weren't escaping life. They were preparing for it. You don't meditate to avoid the world. You meditate to stop being ruled by it. In stillness, you remember who you are. You realize that your emotions are weather, temporary, shifting, never defining. But you are the mountain they pass over, unmoved, unchanged. It's easy to act strong when things are easy. The test is remaining calm when everything collapses. Stillness doesn't mean doing nothing. It means not letting chaos decide your next move. To build this kind of discipline, you don't need temples or rituals. You need awareness. When emotion rises, pause. When anger boils, breathe. When fear whispers, watch it without obeying. At first, it feels impossible. The mind thrashes, demands distraction, screams for reaction. But the more you practice stillness, the more the chaos loses power. And one day, you find yourself in the middle of a storm, calm, collected, steady. The fire no longer burns you. The noise no longer moves you. The world keeps spinning, but you remain centered. That is discipline. That is mastery. That is freedom. Stillness is the point where mind and soul merge, where thought ends and understanding begins. It's where the iron mind is tempered, not by force, but by restraint. Anyone can fight. Few can wait. Anyone can shout. Few can stay silent long enough to hear the truth beneath the noise. The discipline of stillness is not learned in comfort. It's learned in moments when everything inside you wants to react, and you choose not to. It's the discipline of kings and monks alike, to stand firm in the presence of chaos and let nothing move you from your center, because calm is contagious. Your stillness becomes the silence others can stand in, and from that silence, wisdom grows. The iron mind isn't just forged through pain, it's refined through peace. You must be both warrior and monk, fire and stone, movement and stillness. Master both, and nothing external can shake you again. The battlefield has changed. No swords, no shields, no blood in the sand. But the war is still here. Only now, it's fought in silence, through screens, impulses, and invisible habits that shape the mind. The enemy today doesn't come through the gate, it comes through the notification. The modern man doesn't die from hunger. He dies from distraction. He doesn't burn from fire, he drowns in comfort. And every moment his attention is stolen, a piece of his strength goes with it. We've built a world that rewards weakness and calls it ease, instant pleasure, endless entertainment. We scroll past meaning, search for purpose in pixels, and wonder why we feel empty in a world overflowing with noise. But the truth is simple. This is the new war. The war for your focus, your discipline, your soul. The ancients fought to survive. You fight to stay awake. They faced lions and blades. You face addiction and apathy. The difference is only in form. The challenge is the same. To remain strong when the world begs you to be soft. Every beep, every buzz, every feed is a test. The question is no longer, can you lift the weight? Can you sit still without reaching for your phone? Can you resist the constant pull of easy pleasure long enough to build something meaningful? That's the modern battlefield. And the mind is the only weapon that matters. The Stoics warned us long before the algorithm was written. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." And now, that truth is more relevant than ever. Freedom today is not political, it's psychological. It's the ability to control what you give your attention to. Because what you attend to, you become. If you feed your mind chaos, you'll think chaotically. If you feed it outrage, you'll live in rage. If you feed it discipline, you'll become the calm center of a spinning world. The digital age has given us everything, except peace. We can talk to anyone, but we can't sit with ourselves. We can see the world, but we can't see who we are. The average man today is never alone, yet he's lonelier than ever, surrounded by connection, starving for meaning. And it's because he forgot the ancient law: connection without purpose is just distraction. To win in this new world, you must become what others fear. A man who cannot be seduced by comfort. A man who owns his attention, who chooses his pain instead of escaping it, who creates instead of consumes, who walks through noise untouched. That's what it means to have an iron mind in the digital age. Turn the world off for a moment. No music, no screen, no sound. Feel how addicted you are to distraction, that discomfort you feel in silence. That's the sound of withdrawal from weakness. It's not punishment, it's training. Every second you reclaim from distraction is a small rebellion, a signal to your mind that you decide what matters. Because every notification is a whisper, look here, forget what you were doing, forget who you are. And every time you give in, you lose a fraction of yourself, till one day you can't remember what focus even feels like. But the man who can guard his mind, who can sit with boredom, silence, and solitude, that man holds power. He can think when others react. He can act with purpose when others drown in noise. He becomes rare. You can't buy this strength. You can only build it. Every time you resist the urge to scroll, every time you choose to be present, every time you replace consumption with creation, you train your iron mind. The modern battlefield is not about escaping technology. It's about mastering it. Using it without letting it use you, owning the tool instead of becoming the tool. You must learn to disconnect, not because the world is evil, but because your mind deserves silence. Seneca said, if you would escape your troubles, you need not leave any place at all. You only need to leave your passions. In our time, passion has become obsession, and obsession has become prison. But the way out has not changed: stillness, focus, awareness, the same virtues that guided the warriors, philosophers, and monks before you. You don't need to renounce the world. You just need to stop worshipping it. Don't let the algorithm shape your soul. Don't let convenience become your cage. Discipline isn't about restriction. It's about liberation. The freedom to choose what truly matters. Because in the modern battlefield, victory isn't loud. It's quiet. It's in the moments no one sees. When you choose to stay present, when you choose effort over ease, when you choose purpose over pleasure. That's where men are forged now. Not in war zones, but in bedrooms, in offices, in the glow of midnight screens, where few have the strength to look away. So if you wish to be unbreakable, start by being undistracted. Start by taking your mind back, because the war is no longer fought outside. It's fought within, in every choice, every click, every moment of silence you refuse to fill. And the man who conquers that battlefield has already conquered the world. There comes a moment in every man's life when the fire inside him goes silent, not because it's gone, but because it's done burning everything weak. What remains after that silence is steel. This is the iron mind, the final form of the man who stopped running from pain, who made peace with struggle, who learned to sit in the storm and not flinch. The iron mind isn't loud. It doesn't seek praise, validation, or noise. It doesn't need to prove strength. It is strength forged in hardship, cooled in solitude, sharpened by discipline. When you become this man, you stop fighting the world and start mastering yourself, because you realize the enemy was never out there. It was always within. Every doubt, every fear, every excuse, they were all the same thing: resistance. And once you conquer that resistance, life no longer feels like war. It feels like purpose. To become the man who feels no pain is not to become numb. It's to understand pain so completely that it loses its power to control you. You've seen the fire, you've felt the weight, you've walked through chaos and found stillness inside it. Now, you move differently. You act slower, but with precision. You speak less, but with power. You no longer chase. You attract. You no longer react. You decide. That's the quiet mark of mastery. Not control over others. Control over yourself. The iron mind doesn't need comfort. It creates its own. It doesn't wait for motivation. It moves because it must. It doesn't ask for guarantees. It acts from faith. The kind born not from hope, but from history. You've survived everything you thought would destroy you. And that survival, that endurance, is proof that your limits were lies. The mind that once broke under pressure is now the mind that stands unshaken under weight. The fire that once burned you now fuels you. You no longer fear pain. You use it. You've become the blacksmith and the blade, the hammer and the iron. You shape yourself daily through choice, through effort, through silence. And what emerges is something the world can't explain. A man who is calm when others panic, focused when others scatter, peaceful while others chase chaos. That calm isn't emptiness. It's power. It's the kind of strength that makes the world stop and listen, even when you say nothing, because silence speaks louder than shouting. Presence radiates louder than performance, and discipline outlasts talent every single time. You've learned that every moment of pain was a lesson, every failure a test, every delay a teacher. And in those lessons, you discovered what no shortcut could ever give you: unshakable peace. That's the secret the Stoics knew. The goal was never to avoid suffering. It was to transcend it, to walk through the fire and come out forged, to feel pain, but remain free. When Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal, he wasn't writing for the world. He was writing to remind himself, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think. He knew that life is short, that time is fleeting, and that to waste it on weakness is the ultimate defeat. You have that same power right now to choose differently, to think clearly, to act with purpose. Because strength is not given, it's remembered. It was always inside you, buried beneath comfort, fear, and distraction. The iron mind is simply the process of uncovering it, removing the noise until only truth remains. The truth that you are enough, but not yet finished, that you are capable, but still becoming, that you are not here to be entertained. You are here to be forged. And once you understand that, life no longer feels heavy. It feels sacred, because the man who can master his mind has already mastered existence. He is no longer tossed by emotion or fate. He walks with quiet fire, focused, grounded, alive. That's the man who feels no pain. Not because he doesn't feel, but because he understands. He sees pain for what it is, the proof that he's still growing, still moving, still alive. And as he walks through the world, he no longer fears what's coming, because he knows that whatever comes, he can endure it, he can transform it, he can use it. The iron mind is not the end of the journey, it's the beginning of mastery. The moment when you no longer chase peace, you are peace. So stand tall, breathe deep, and remember, you were not made to be comfortable. You were made to be capable. You were made to endure. You were made to overcome. The fire was never your enemy. It was your invitation. And now that you've walked through it, you don't burn anymore. You shine.